let the opening commence. And the first thing I'm opening is Void Stout from Full Geek Brewlab in Winnipeg. These guys are a new brewery that I hadn't heard of before, so I figured I'd give this guy a try. Describes itself as having a roast to smoke notes and chocolate flavor. Interesting, great mouthfeel. Should be fun. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it is kind of smoky. I like it. So the first thing in the mail is an extension cable. Possibly. We'll see. Oh yeah. Looks like a USB-C male to female. How long are you? Half a meter? Thereabouts? Sure. So this is just adding capacity to my USB cable collection. Historically, I'd had tons of the mini micro USB A and B, this kind of stuff. I'm just starting to get USB-C rolled out all around the house, and a few times this extension would have come in handy, so I figured I'd grab one cheap. It seems like a fairly solid rubbery coating. Of course, that's never an indication of what the quality is inside it, but we'll have to see. I'm assuming it's going to work. How complicated is it really? Type-C male to female PD charging USB-C extension cable, sync extender, etc., etc. I got the black one, half a meter long, and it cost me $3.92 Canadian with free shipping from wherever. Cute. These are also available in, well, any color you want, as long as it's black, I guess, and up to 1.5 meters long, but I got the short one because I didn't figure I would need a super amount of length. It claims to be all copper conductors and a maximum of 3 amps or 60 watts. Well, that was, not that exciting, but it is going to be a useful thing. What's next? This says anaerobic glue. Anaerobic glue? All right. Oh, it's locked. 443 or 243. I'm so thrown off by that name. It's Threadlocker. This is not Loctite. This is a cheap knockoff. But I figured I'd give it a try because I don't really need Threadlocker that often, but it probably beats stealing my wife's nail polish when I do need some. Screw glue, thread locking agent, anaerobic, 243 resistance, etc. High quality, numbers, letters, whatever. I paid a whopping $2.42 Canadian or $1.79 American with $1.34 Canadian for shipping. So that is well under the cost of actual Loctite. And with that funky typo on the bottle, I expected it to be knockoff. I didn't expect it to be the real thing, obviously. But I figured, like I often do, I like to see what I can get for super cheap, how well it works compared to the real thing, and whether it will serve my needs. And my needs are fairly simple a lot of times. I'm not doing this professionally. This is just hobby stuff. So if it'll do the job for hobby work, like in this case, to hold bolts in place in a 3D printer or something like that, I'd call that a win. Lots of words down here, high quality, blah, blah, blah. Good vibration absorption, no volatilization, no pollution. Does not solidify, easy to clean. Yeah, I don't know these words. But for, under $2, what the hell? So let's just see if it works as advertised. Let's grab me a 1/4-20 bolt just for funsies. Let's see. Oh, it's bluish. Okay. Hello. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's nice and viscous. Let's run some around those threads a little bit. Probably need more than that, I would think. I don't know. Like I said, I've never used this kind of stuff before. There. I'm sure there's auto mechanics in the comments right now screaming at me. Anyway, I am going to let that set up and we'll see what happens at the end of the video. Just leave that over by Benchy and the cats there. Well, that's amusing. Let's see what's next while we're waiting for that. This says soldering iron tip cleaning. Alrighty. That sounds familiar. Ooh, fancy little anti-static bag. No, probably not, just a silver bag. It's all in Chinese, but it says be made of imported materials. No lead. What's in the tin? Interesting. So is that in fact... Ooh, that's powder. I'd assumed it was tip cleaning stuff, and I sort of thought it would be pasty. All right, let's go and see if we can find out what this is, and then I'll come back and try it out if it is what I think it is. Soldering gun, old solder, iron tip tinner, and cleaner oxidized clean. Right. I got style L. What is style S? Oh, it's just a smaller container. Okay. I got the larger one for $3.79 American or $5.13 Canadian with free shipping. All right, so they show it making a world of difference on your soldering iron tips. We'll have to see about that. What's it say down here? Clean the welding tip when the temperature is between 300 and 360 C. Let the tip and solder abrasives repeatedly rub. Clean the welding tip with solder sponge. Okay, I can do that. Soldering tip is tin plated. The effect may not be obvious. Repeat when the tip abrasive remains on the tip. They keep calling this abrasive. Anyway, the large one's 15 grams. Well, let's see. I think I've got a tip that's not pristine, so let's play with it. It's not exactly pristine around the sides, though the business end is fairly nice and shiny. Give it a clean on both that and my sponge. And you can see it's still kind of dark around the edges. I'll just put a little tin on it with this Kester 6040 that I've got here. I'm going to use that rather than my MG because it's a larger gauge and it's got more flux in the middle of it. So that's about as nice as I can get that, which isn't horrible. I mean, the actual business side is nice and clean. It's just around the sides there that you're not using anyway that are dirty, but regardless, let's see what this stuff does. I was surprised to find that it was a powder. I wasn't expecting that. What happens if I go in there? Okay, so it kind of melts onto the iron a little bit, right? So it said do that and then hit it on the sponge. Oh yeah. Okay. That's interesting. It calls it cleaner and tinner. That's working pretty well. Like I said, except for this really nasty part, and even that, there's some coming off. Okay. But again, back there, you're never going to be putting solder on it anyway. You're only going to be putting it on there. So, I guess it sort of does what it says. Yeah, I can live with that. All right. Well, that was pretty cool. Let's see. What is this next thing in here? Printer ribbon, it says. Okay. Don't have any printers that... Oh, okay. It's, it's label tape cassette for my label maker, but this is heat shrink tube label. Oh, in 2 different sizes. So that is pretty slick. So this is for this knockoff of a Brother P-Touch label maker that I got a few mailbags back. And I didn't know when I first bought it that you could buy label stuff that has that is heat shrink. But look at this. It's actually tubing. Well, that's pretty cool. Obviously, we need to play with that. But I guess first, well, while I'm setting that up, I'll go and check and see where I bought this from and how much it cost. Industrial tape replace for Brother, etc., etc., etc. Heat shrink tube label for Brother P-Touch label maker. I got 2 different sizes. I got the 9mm and the 12mm. The 9 cost $3.84 Canadian, and the 12 $4.08. $1.41 shipping. They have other sizes. You can also get it black on yellow, but I got black on white just cause. Yeah, there's all the different versions. There's all the different printers that it can be used in. Sure. So, out with the standard label tape and in with this guy. Does that just drop in like it should? Isn't that just dropping in like it? Oh yeah, there we go. Make sure that's routed properly through there. Okay. Put capitals on. And print. It's mirrored. Why is it mirrored? Damn it. Oh, their mirroring is off. Okay. It was mirrored because, oh, why is it mirrored? Let's turn mirroring on then. Fine, be like that. That's weird. Looks pretty good though. I'm impressed with that. Let us just chop that down to size. That's the one thing I don't like about any of these P-Touch style label makers. They always waste so much in the leader of it. So let's just see what this shrinks down. It's supposed to shrink 2 to 1, just like most heat shrink does. So we'll see what happens here. Hopefully it'll go down nice and neat. Okay, that's not bad. 170 degrees on the heat gun. Still nice and readable. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Now I gotta find some black stuff so that I can get white on black as well. Okay, the last thing in. What does it say? Insulation sealant. Liquid insulating rubber coat. 1 ounce, 30 milliliters, 2 different kinds. North Moon Company. Oh, okay. That's why I got 2 different ones. One's black and one's white. So if this is what I think it is, then it is what people tend to call liquid electrical tape. And there's kind of the application there. You just sort of goop it onto your wire connections. Again, another product that I've never used, I've heard about in the past, so I figured I'd check it out, and being me, I'll check out the absolute cheapest version of it possible. Shelf life 2 years, materials glue. Yeah. 30 milliliters liquid insulating electrical wires, cable sealant, fast dry glue, white. $4.32 Australian. Hello, Australia. Or $4 Canadian even with free shipping. And for some reason, the black version is a little bit more expensive, $4.60 Aussie or $4.26 Canadian. But they are, other than that, basically the same thing. Liquid electrical tape. They even call it that, even though I think that's a brand. Not sure. But regardless, it's flexible, insulating. It forms an airtight, water-resistant, UV-resistant insulating coating. Fast drying. Right. Available in black or white. And I got both just because. So when you're doing end-to-end splices, it's easy enough to just put heat shrink on it to keep it insulated. That's all well and good. When you're doing splices like that, then it's a lot more difficult to get insulation on it. Yeah, you can wrap tape around it, but that's goopy and ugly. So let's just try this stuff out and see what happens. I suspect this is going to be a little bit messy. Okay, I need a little pokey poke. So I'm not sure if that's dried up. Yeah, that's not ideal. It's kind of rubbered up and gunked up in the tube. Drywall screw to the rescue, maybe? Just to pull that clod of dried stuff out of there. Not super impressed so far. Wow, that's a lot of dried up crud in there. But I think we're getting this softer material. Okay. So let's see what happens. Okay, is that liquid? No, that's still gunked up solid. These may have exceeded their shelf life already. Come on, is there anything liquid in here at all? Oh, maybe. Is that getting a little bit sticky? No, not really. Oh, looks like I may have to leave a less than positive review for that seller. Yeah, that's not, unless that's like a putty little schmush on there, maybe? Is that what they intended to be? I would have thought it was a little bit more liquid than that. Because that's not sticking to anything though. Oh, finally I got a little bit this sticking to my finger. Great. Well, I'm less than impressed with that. It's definitely not making a watertight seal. But I think, like I said, I think the example that I got here has exceeded its shelf life. So, yeah. Not happy with that. Oh well. I guess that's what I get for buying cheap from random people on the internet. There we go. Another varied and unusual assortment of things. That's just utilitarian. That's going to be fine, assuming it can pass current. This stuff wasn't what I expected, but I think it's going to work okay for what it is, keeping my soldering tips maintained. This stuff. Oh, right. Let's see what happens. Oh, yeah. I actually can't turn that. It works. Okay. Can I actually break it loose? Oh, yeah. With tools, I can break it loose, but by hand, I can't. Okay, that's good. It does what it's supposed to do. Nice. This crap, on the other hand, seemed like a good idea, except for I think I just got bad product. As I said, I will say bad words to the seller and see what he does. And these P-Touch heat shrink sleeves, I think those are pretty cool. That's going to be a good thing, I think, for when I need to label wires when I'm installing them. One thing, though, I did notice, there's not a huge amount on there. It says it's only 1.5 meters. So that is a little bit expensive for heat shrink, but for heat shrink plus a nice, neat, professional-looking labeling solution, pretty sure that's a win. All in all, I'm very happy this week. Hope you were entertained, amused, informed, something. I don't know. Questions or comments down below. Thanks for watching, everybody. As usual, thanks to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube channel members for kicking a few dollars into the kitty each month and helping me keep the mailbags rolling in and keeping the beer fridge full. Always appreciated. And yeah, as I said, for everybody else, thanks for watching.